lots of places you have seen something similar to what's called the drinking bird. This is one that I bought at Hobby Lobby for 10 bucks. Again, some of the things in the experiments that we'll be showing you have to do with things that were store-bought, not very many. Most of them are items that you have at home or items that you can buy cheaply in the local stores around you. But this dippy bird is one that lots of people use for entertainment. It's sort of an interesting little fella. This one's store-bought because he contains some products that I don't normally have at home, and I don't think you do either. In this particular case, the little dippy bird's head has a fuzz on it, a little kind of product that is fuzzy. And what that does is it absorbs the water. The cup has water in it up to the top, and the little dippy bird is going to dip his nose into the cup here in just a minute, I hope. But the blue fluid that you see in it is methanol chloride, not something I have. But in an industrial setting, it's used as a paint stripper and as a solvent. So that's why most of us don't have that kind of thing around the house. So the little dippy bird then is going to dip his head in a minute into the cup. And what's going to happen is he's going to get that felt that's on his beak wet. And as that water evaporates from the fuzz on his head, then his head gets to be a cooler temperature. Again, we've talked a lot about different kinds of experiments. We've talked a lot about how temperature affects so many things, whether it's heated or it cools, and the differences in what happens when things are heated and cooled. So as his beak gets cool down after he's dipped it into the water, then the temperature decreases in the head and it condenses in the little ball part that is his head. And then the blue material, the methanol chloride, condenses inside of his head, and it causes vapor pressure, and that vapor pressure decreases from his head and causes the fluid to go back down into the ball that's at the bottom of his where his feather is. And all of that has to do with heating and cooling. It has to do with vapor pressure. It has to do with temperature. It has to do with displacing of bubbles, because obviously the fluid is going to bubble back down the body here in a minute. And even the fuzz on his head has to do with absorption. So there's lots of different principles that you can use. Here he goes, maybe. Lots of different principles that you can teach in this particular science experiment. As you can see, he's beginning to tip over a little bit, and the balance, obviously that's why he's standing up on the little legs with hooks, is he's balanced, and as the fluid rises up to his head, and as the vapor pressure changes and decreases, then it goes back down into his the bottom of the little bird, obviously caused by some evaporation on the fuzz of his nose. Come on, little bird, drink. Just turn it off a minute and we'll